Hey guys, welcome back. In this lesson, Introduction to TestNG, we will discuss what is TestNG, why we need it, and when we will be using it. Let us start with what is TestNG by definition. Then we will go into more details. TestNG is a testing framework for Java programming language, created by Cedric Bust and inspired from JUnit and NUnit. The design goal of TestNG is to cover a wider range of test categories: unit testing, functional, end-to-end, integration, etc., with more powerful and easy to use functionalities. As a starter, the definition will not make full sense. One gets an idea, it is used for a wide range of testing types. Let me present you a scenario, followed by a problem, and explain how TestNG solves it. Let us say you, me, and couple of other test developers created 100 test cases. We decided to run few as part of smoke testing and some as part of regression testing. And also let us assume you wrote code using a main method in your test scripts. That is how you will write if you don't use TestNG or similar framework. Let me repeat. We wrote 100 test cases together, out of which some we want to run as smoke tests, some as part of regression tests. And these 100 test cases have their own main method by each individual test developer. That's the scenario. Now, your lead will come and say, "Team, let us only run smoke tests for each build. You should do full regression once weekly." So which means you're running the smoke tests for each build and regression tests only weekly. The reason behind it can be the regression tests will take a very long time to run. So how will you classify your tests into smoke and regression tests without spending hours of coding and classifying them? The answer is TestNG. TestNG uses annotations. By adding groups parameter to annotation, you can classify tests into different categories. For each, you provide a group it belongs to. So you can give a group as regression, a group as smoke, so that from your command line, when you run these tests, it will only run those groups. One thing you ever want to remember about TestNG is annotations. What again? Annotations. The annotations with @ symbol. We will see how to implement in the following lessons. Second solution TestNG provides is test lifecycle management. So when you're running a test, we will fire up the browser, we execute search or whatever test you want to do, and then you will close the browser, right? So in this test lifecycle, if you classify them at a high level, 3 steps are involved: firing up the browser, running the test, and closing the browser. So this lifecycle can be elegantly managed in TestNG using annotations. Yes, again annotations. So you can use @before, @after, @test annotations for these 3 steps of lifecycle. With test lifecycle management provided by TestNG, we can get rid of main method what we are using so far. Instead of main method, you can write your methods as @before, @test, @after for firing up the browser, running the test, and closing the browser. Main method still a good thing when you are learning and testing few things real fast, but in professional test development, we will not be using main method. Either you will be using a test lifecycle management like TestNG or JUnit to execute the tests. To sum up this lesson, we use TestNG for test lifecycle management and also to group the tests into different categories like smoke, regression, and sanity, whatever you want to group them as, all with annotations. Thank you.